Good morning, guys. I am going to give you my rundown, my bull thesis for Bluebird Bio, ticker Blue. I feel like I have to make this video because of a lot of people on stock Twits that are just going crazy about the analysts' ratings and why this company is not worth even $6 a share. So I have a bunch of tabs opened up across the screen. I'm going to go right down and try and tell you my story. And at the end, I'm going to give you my thesis, what I'm thinking, and why I'm thinking it. So first of all, this is for Bluebird Bio, ticker Blue, as I have stated. Their first approved treatment was Zintelgo. It treats beta thalassemia. I believe I say that right. I have it outlined here just to give you an idea of what the approximate patient base could be. So it's estimated that 1 in 100,000 people are affected with this disease. This comes with a price tag of $2.8 million per treatment. So the next one, which we've just gotten a few weeks ago, actually last week, is for Skysona, and that's for CALD, cerebral adrenoleukodystrophy. That's a super rare disease, but it's estimated that 1 in every 21,000 men are thought to have CALD, okay? And that comes with a $3 million price tag per patient. So I know it sounds like a lot of money per treatment, but next tab here is ICER. So what exactly is ICER? It's the Institute for Clinical and Economic Review. So what exactly do? They are who the insurance companies and payers use to determine whether or not a treatment or a drug is worth the money and if it's effective. Well, good thing for us, ICER agrees that the price tags for Zintelgo and for Skysona are worth the risk that's involved. So basically, the insurance companies will cover the cost of these two treatments. Okay. So now here's what's the big play here. Besides a buyout play, this is the big play. So they are scheduled to submit their BLA, their biologic license application for sickle cell in the first quarter of 2023. So sickle cell is huge. It affects approximately 100,000 Americans. It occurs about 1 out of every 365 black or African American births. It occurs among 1 out of every 16,300 Hispanic American births, and about 1 in 13 black or African American babies is born with sickle cell trait. So basically, the two diseases, the two drugs that we have approved already, Skysona and Zintelgo, solidifies Bluebird's technology and gives credit to their treatments. Okay, they are scheduled to submit their application for sickle cell, which is huge for Bluebird. It's huge for the patient population as well. Pay close attention, follow this. This is why I believe that Bluebird is going to be, it's not going to be, right now it's worth more than $6 a share. So moving on from the drugs that were just approved, what they have coming up, we're going to get into another big bear thesis, the chief financial officer leaving Bluebird, okay? So Jason Cole, he was the CFO. Everybody knows that. He is leaving October, but he is going to consult with the company until April of next year, okay? Seems bad, right? Until you really read into it. Jason Cole is going to retain his base salary for 12 months from this October to October 2023. So that tells us a few things. Number one, he is not leaving on bad terms. The company did not decide to fire him, because if they decided to fire him, they would not have gave him a severance package, okay? He is not currently pursuing another career opportunity, because if he was, that he would not be consulting with Bluebird. That would be a conflict of interest. And I'm sure he had to sign some sort of a non-compete agreement. Okay, so there's that. But more importantly, who did they decide to fill in that position? Well, they handed the duties off to Catherine Breedis. Okay, so who is Catherine Breedis? Well, she currently works for Danforth Advisors. Okay, who the hell is Danforth Advisors? We'll get into that in a minute. But more importantly, if you check out her resume, she worked for Pfizer. Okay, she was a senior director for corporate strategy. Her responsibilities were for leading and participating in cross-functional strategic projects, supporting key decisions of Pfizer executive leadership team and board of directors. So she worked with anybody who was anybody at Pfizer. And before that, she worked for Eli Lilly. And what was her responsibilities at Eli Lilly? She was responsible for sourcing acquisitions and licensing opportunities on the East Coast. Okay? So she is not just some random person who's just going to come in, not know what in the hell she's doing, or just somebody that they're just going to throw in that position. She's there for a very particular reason. So she works for Danforth Advisors. What does Danforth Advisors do? Well, they are in charge of capital raising, and they also lead mergers and acquisitions. DanforthAdvisors.com. You can go research it yourself. I'm not trying to make this video very long. Next, so their cash burn. Bears are saying they do not have enough money to continue operations, which is another reason why the analysts are driving down their price targets. So it is true that they are not flush with cash at the moment. At the end of quarter two, okay, of 2022, they had $218 million. It's not a lot of money considering that as in 2021, their cash burn was $340 million. But they have $218 million right now. That was before they had any approved drugs or any approved treatments. And they did not have the 2 priority review vouchers that they have currently in hand right now that they will and are planning on monetizing. So the most recent PRV that was sold was February 9th, 2022. Bio Martin sold it to an undisclosed purchaser for $110 million, which is where the $110 million price tag is coming from. So they have 2 of them now that are potentially worth $220 million on top of the $218 million that they currently have, which would currently put them at $438 million, which clears them for the rest of this year, the rest of 2023, and into 2024. In the meantime, they will start receiving revenue from Zyntelgo and Skysona, which will further boost their cash position. But that's after they sell the priority review vouchers, okay? Moving on, I want to show you the institutional ownership currently on Bluebird, and that is 77.27% according to Fintel. If we scroll down here, we'll see that the share price as of September 22nd, 2022, it's $5.97, okay? Last year, September 23rd, 2021, 1 year ago from today, the share price was $12.21, okay? $12.21, which is more than a 100% increase from where it is right now. And that was before they had any priority review vouchers. That was before they had any approved therapies, okay? So now let's go to the overview on Bluebird. And I want to show you, let's see, the short borrow rate as of right now is 13.07%. The short interest is currently sitting at 29.64%. So just call it 30% of the float is sold short for easy math with a 13.07 cost to borrow fee. All right, so now we're going to go to iBorrowDesk. They'll show you historic values here. So we want to go back to the farthest that they'll let us see is September 16th at 2 o'clock. The interest to borrow, the cost to borrow was not even a 0.5%, okay, with 3,600,000 shares available. Now scroll all the way back up here till yesterday. There's 2,300,000 shares, and the cost to borrow fee went up to 13.1%, which says there's more demand for the stock than there was 2 weeks ago. And here is the chart that I have set for 5 years. You can see it's just beaten down. A lot of things had happened in between here. Some of it was justified, some of it wasn't. But as it sits right now, the stock is beaten down to damn near cash value. So now I'm going to give you my thesis on why I think Bluebird Bio is worth substantially more than what it's at right now, and it is an excellent and prime time to buy because they are the most, how could I put this? They are the most likely candidate for a bigger company such as Pfizer or Eli Lilly to come in and buy them. And the reason I'm saying that is because the fact that they have barely $200 million in the bank, they did not monetize the priority review vouchers yet. So as it stands right now financially, Bluebird is not doing too well. So they don't really have too much negotiation room, or they don't have any legs to stand on when it comes to an offer that another company would come in and give to them, which is what I think Catherine Breedis is doing right now in Bluebird. I believe that she is doing an audit to report back to anybody, whatever company it may be, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Eli Lilly, I don't know, for them to submit an offer to Bluebird to purchase them. Now, if they wait until the priority review vouchers are sold and monetized, then Bluebird's going to be in a much more financially stable situation to where they can do some hard negotiations, right? But on top of that, if they don't come in and buy out Bluebird before the BLA is submitted and filed and accepted by the FDA for sickle cell, their Voucher therapy, then Bluebird is going to be worth substantially more than what they can buy it at today, next week, October, November, and December. I would think a fair value as we stand right now, shares at $5.80, I would believe that a fair value for this company with the PRVs, the cash in hand, and before paying to file the BLA for Voucher, I would think a fair value for a buyout would be $12 to $15 a share. This company is de-risked almost to the point where there is no risk to any potential investor coming in, okay? You have two approved gene therapies, Skysona and Zyntelgo. You have one that I would venture to say has at least a 90% chance of being approved, and that is Voucher, okay? You have two priority review vouchers worth $100 to $110 million a piece, which is going to be worth more to another company to submit their drug to the FDA to try and bring it to market before a competitor. So if you were to buy Bluebird out right now, you get two PRVs, you have two approved gene therapies with a potentially third approved gene therapy. On top of that, Bluebird is not in a financial position right now to move their operations back into Europe where they already have approvals. They just do not have the financial backing. A larger company, Pfizer, Eli Lilly, they have the financial means to move back into the European markets. So it potentially Zyntelgo and Skysona can bring in more revenue if we move it back into the European markets. So my theory is by the end of 2022, Bluebird Bio will absolutely be bought by another company. Who? I'm not sure, but any company that has the financial being to do it should swoop in and buy them because it is all nothing but upside. Bluebird had already taken all the risk. They had proved their technology. They had proved their gene therapies worked. So now it's time for another larger company to come in and reap the rewards.